am very excited to say I have a special guest in the studio. Kevin Desmond is our new CEO of TransLink. How long have you been on the job now?
6 weeks.
Okay, so Kevin Desmond has agreed to come in, talk to us about what he's seen so far, where he wants to take TransLink in the future.
You know, my background, I'm from New York, so I grew up in and around the New York City subway system back in the bad old days and even up until modern times. And the most frustrating thing for me as a transit user for many years was not knowing. Mm-hmm. Either they wouldn't tell you, or in the subway system, infamously, you could never understand the PAs.
Right.
So giving people information is really important. Information in real time. What's the status? Even if there's a delay, if you're telling folks what's going on, people relax a little bit. They have an expectation. So I think how we can improve that information flow, whether it's on a bus delay, a train delay, or just other information about what's going on in the system, I think we can do better with that.
You are actually considering the possibility of extending late-night service on the weekends for Skytrain.
Well, it's a question that's been brought up, and it's a question that I'm looking at. We have a brand new president of the Rapid Transit Company, so she and I are taking a hard look at it. Again, the trade-off is, there's a cost to it, but more importantly is can we get the maintenance done at night and still run a reliable system the rest of the time?
But it is under consideration.
We're thinking about it. Yeah.
Okay.
We have 94% of all of our transactions on all of the different services that TransLink provides are being done with Compass cards. People are using it. They're gravitating to Compass. By comparison now, 6 years later, after we instituted our smart card in Seattle, still less than 70% of our transactions on the Metro Transit bus, my old agency, were by Orca cards. So the system is there. It's working. Our preliminary estimates after about a couple of weeks of the Fairgate closures is revenue on the Skytrain's up about 7%. What we're seeing with the disabled community, there is a group of people who have very special needs, who have a hard time tapping at the disabled gates. And we're going to work with each and every one of those. We're going to try to identify each and every one of those individuals. How can we make it so that you can have that free access in and out of the free, meaning easy to get through the fare gates on your own, and we're very focused on doing that.
Disability Alliance BC wants to know if proximity readers are going to be provided to passengers with disabilities.
That is one of the things we're talking to them about, yes.
You were successful in Seattle in getting the public to get on board with some big money questions. And there's another one. You said Seattle voters are going to be asked to accept a $50 billion transit expansion this November. How do we get people in Metro Vancouver on board with that kind of money?
So for many years in the Puget Sound region, the issue is a public issue, political issue. Transportation almost always was at the top of public concern. Traffic building, more and more people moving to the region. It's a very appealing place to live. People who live in that part of the world, as I think here in the Vancouver region, want a certain quality of life. And with that quality of life comes choices, and transportation is part of that choice calculation, if you will. And it's part of your quality of life. If you're stuck, and you just heard the traffic report, if you're stuck in traffic all the time and it's taking you longer and longer and you're aggravated, you're not going to have a great quality of life. Transit is a way to give people choices. So in the Puget Sound region, how do we increase those choices while allowing for the economic growth and development? Same issue going on here. We're going to see 1 million more people here by 2040. Those are the estimates, 600,000 more jobs. Imagine, where are we going to put all those folks? How are people going to get around? You've got to keep investing in the infrastructure going forward. So the arguments that were being made in the Puget Sound region that led up to eventually the successful votes, repeated successful votes, to fund the expansion of a high-capacity rail network, express buses, commuter rail, and now primarily light rail, is making the argument about quality of life, environment, and economic growth and development, and competitiveness. We're competing with the Seattle market here. We're a port city here. Seattle's a port city. So we need to continue to be competitive. We've got to invest in it in our transit network to do so.
Does that mean another referendum here?
I don't know where it will play out. I think the recent decision the announcement by the federal government several weeks ago to invest significant new dollars in transportation nationwide, they've announced they'll pay for 50% of our projects going forward. That's a big deal. That's changed from when the referendum. So we need to figure out a way to leverage that federal dollars successfully.
20 seconds. What is your goal for increasing ridership?
Oh, boy, in 20 seconds, that's hard to do. Good customer service focused on the customer. If we do everything in our power as employees of TransLink to focus on the customer, things will flow. We also do need more investment in the system because the demand is there, and we have a lot of overcrowded buses, and the only way to deal with that is to put more buses on those routes.